What's up, guys? Mike with Boost Brothers Garage, back again at the PRI show. This time I've got Wyatt with MCS, motion control suspension. Zach and I we're just walking the entire show, seeing what interests us, and we happened to walk by their booth looking at some coilovers, and lo and behold, they've got coilovers for the 987 Cayman. So immediately we started talking to Wyatt, and he's just telling us a little bit about the technology and what options we have. I know there's a lot of you 987 Cayman owners that are subscribed to our channel, so let's check it out. As far as the 987 and really any of your applications, you have non-adjustable all the way to, what'd you say, four-way adjustable?
Yeah, so we've got 6 different systems ranging from a non-adjustable into a single adjustable non-remote, a double adjustable non-remote, double adjustable remote, triple adjustable remote, and now the new 4-way system.
So that 4-way with remote, that's full motorsports.
Yeah, that's, we come from GT and touring car racing, so we started at the other end of the spectrum.
Okay.
And as we continue to grow with market share, we started introducing the product to club racing, and now HPD guys and street car guys.
Okay.
So the range started on this side and has come back to a more
trickling the
level
technology down to some of the other applications.
Well, the technology is still there. It's just the amount of adjustability that's been reduced. So it's still a motorsport grade damper. All the technology that we developed through motorsport is applied, but we take the adjustability away and we bring the cost down with it. Because there are less machine parts that go inside.
Gotcha.
Less parts, the easier it is to assemble, and less time involved means we can reduce our retail costs for the consumer.
Awesome. So, found out before we started filming, talking to Wyatt here, the owner of MCS actually founded 2 other motorsports damper companies that I'm sure you guys have heard of, one being JRZ and the other being Moton. So the name MCS was a little bit new to us, but obviously there's a lot of clout and engineering that went into those companies, and it's the same owner and head of engineering, right? That's doing the same stuff. So if you haven't heard of them before, that's a little bit of the background. So anyway, what we're looking at for the 987, we're still not 100% sure which route we're going as far as how much of a track car it's going to be. But either way, we don't have any need for a 3 or 4-way adjustable damper, but we do have need for a single or a 2-way. And can you explain to us a little bit about why you would pick one over the other? What are the benefits of having the additional adjustability?
Well, ultimately that roots in when you're looking at the single adjustable and comparing it to the double adjustable non-remote. You have the ability with moving from the single to the double to introduce more platform to the car with compression damping forces. So you can take the compression damping forces out of the car, make the car ride a bit more comfortable with a more comfortable frequency for street use. But as you start to load the car up in the corner and use a more aggressive tire or a more aggressive driving setting when we go out to the track, then you can get some more platform into the car, get some more roll stiffness, make the tire work more effectively for you.
So you can run a little bit lower spring rate?
You could go with a more mild spring package on the car, so there is more pliability on the street, and then compensate for that lack of spring support that's holding the car up with some compression damping to a degree.
Okay.
But then you also run the risk of hitting the tire too hard. So that's why it's nice to have a double remote. You can add the compression damping force, but the ability to add more lifting support to the car that the spring's not providing to you by going through a Schrader core at the bottom of the reservoir, get more nitrogen gas into the shock, lift the car up a little better.
Okay.
So for a lot of the guys out there that are looking for less compromise for their street and daily track cars, they'll go for the double remote because they can gas the shocks up a little bit for their track day, but then bring it back down for street use.
Okay, so I didn't realize that. I always thought that the remote reservoir was just for cooling.
Yeah, a lot of people think that that's the only reason it's there. And while there is more thermal dissipation by introducing more oil and more physical components to dissipate the heat, that's not what it's for. When you move into a remote reservoir system, you have more space to introduce more parts to better control that damping force. Yeah, so moving into the double remote system, we're moving all the compression damping force into the reservoir head. So you see our 2-way system here with the high-speed compression knob is there. You got that same high-speed compression knob here on this triple adjustable system, but you introduce the ability to bleed the compression hit with the low-speed compression knob here. But all this is now taking place outside the main damper body. So that introduces more space to work with compression damping forces, but also as this damper strokes, you have more space for more organic stroke in the damper without running out of travel.
Okay.
So less compromises, more ability to dissipate components.
On the two-way, I only see one knob. How does that work?
So this is actually pretty unique. We have a double adjustable non-remote system that functions on a button mechanism at the shaft end. It's a monotube damper, no base valve. Everything's done on the main piston assembly itself. With the knob in the down position, you're controlling rebound damping forces. And when you press that pin there, the knob will pop up. And now I can control compression damping forces.
Wow.
So no crawling underneath the car to make a compression setting, which once you dial in the rebound of the car, get the springs under control and find the balance in the car that you like, compression is the one that you'll be making the setting most often.
Okay.
And it's usually when it's wet or as the car starts to warm up and you start to add some more platform to the car. You have to crawl underneath a hot car, which has a hot rotor, and you usually burn yourself.
Right.
It's just not effective. But from a performance standpoint, it allows us to run a larger diameter piston, displace more fluid internally, have more control of that fluid, so better damping.
Gotcha. So do you guys have, like, say we purchase the two-way damper and we go to the track for the first time and we have no idea what we're doing.
Right.
Do you guys have any technical resources for how to properly set your suspension up?
Yeah, we're available for you. So instead of just putting out a lot of data for you to decipher on your own, what sold me on this company was the fact that I could pick up the phone and call someone that knew what they were doing.
Okay.
So that's one of the other aspects that we provide. That it's part of the product itself. You have a product that works well, then you get technical consultation and setup support from the manufacturer.
Awesome.
And its dealer network. You know, we don't just sell to anyone that can
Right.
sell the product. You know, the people that represent us that sell our product, they race themselves. They understand vehicle dynamics. They know how to set up the car. And between your dealer and us as a manufacturer, it's just simple picking up the phone or emailing us, calling us, letting us know a little bit about what you got going on with your car, some of the preliminary information that we need,
Okay.
spring rates, tire setup, alignment setup, what you're doing with the car, and we'll provide some education. This is how you use rebound damping to control the car. Here's how you introduce compression damping. When you introduce that third tuning tool, the low speed compression or gas pressure, we'll teach you how that works and how you can use that to your advantage. So you buy all this adjustability and you know how to use it.
Right.
It's not any good if you've got it.
Yeah.
Actually, the more adjustability you have that you don't know how to use introduces the ability to dial the car out of an operating range that makes the car effective.
Okay.
So it's
Which that would be us. We would just be turning knobs left and right. Like, yeah, I don't know what's going on, but it's getting stiffer.
and stiffer's not always better. Pliability is important. You know, ultimately what we have on each corner of the car is a contact patch.
Right.
And what we're doing with the shock and the spring combination, the alignment, is making that contact patch more effective.
Okay.
And if you hit the tire too hard, if you don't get a chance for that tire to take a set, it's not gonna work out in your favor.
Yeah. I will tell you that I rode in a buddy's 987.2 fully prep track car. It had a competitor's motorsport shock on there, but he dipped his wheel off the curbing into some big holes a few times that on a stock suspension, I think, would have gotten really ugly.
It can, and you know, ultimately, we're not the only guys doing this. I think we do things in a different way, and we bring in other aspects that other manufacturers don't, which is education and support.
Yeah.
There are a lot of shock manufacturers out there. When you got a good combination, no matter who made it, when it's valved right and it's controlling the spring appropriately, and you can dissipate a bump like that,
Yeah.
that is a big difference.
Yeah.
That's what you feel. You can slam through curbing, find the faster line through there without upsetting the car, without upsetting the tire.
It was pretty incredible.
Yeah, it'll open up your eyes.
After that, I'm like, oh, now I understand why some people pay $10,000 for a set of shocks and dampers.
And the reality is, you don't have to spend $10,000 for a set of shocks.
Right.
Or
which we're not going to, so that's good.
Yeah, you know, the single adjustable system retails for $2,650.
Okay.
By the time you put springs and top mounts on it, depending on what you're doing with it, you know, you're looking about $3,000 to $3,400.
Okay. What about the two-way?
The two-way non-remote's $3,350. By the time you spring it and put top mounts on it, you're close to the $4,000 mark.
And I'm assuming that for novice drivers that we would probably be hard pressed to outperform that setup.
You know, we get a lot of people calling us that they think that just buying shocks can make them faster. So one thing we really push to people is before you buy a shock, find the limit of the equipment that you have now. Really maximize the potential of what you're working with now. When the obvious limitation is your equipment, that's when it makes sense to buy something like this, or a better tire, or better brakes, or more brake. So, you know, find the limit of your tire, put tire on. Find the limit of your brakes, put brake on. Find the limit of your suspension, put a new suspension system on. And that's going to be the way to become faster. started as a driver.
Maybe that's advice that we should be taking, because right now we're just throwing money at everything and we don't even have a car to use. So anyway, Wyatt, thanks for your time. I greatly appreciate
Thanks
it.
for coming by.
Check out MCS. I'll put a link down below. As far as seeing stuff in person, it's super impressive. So we're going to look more into it, and yeah, maybe we'll end up on our Cayman build.
Thanks for coming by.
Thanks, Wyatt.